So hey students, welcome to Diksha Vedantu 9th and 10th. This is Baswaraj. I'm your biology master teacher. But today I'll be teaching you English. So students, in this is going to be a very small video because I do not want to take a lot of your time. In a very short, in a very crisp manner, I'll be teaching you tenses. Now students, this is going to be a not detailed session on tenses because if I were to take a detailed session on tenses, that can take a lot of time. But right now your exam is right around the corner, so I'll be telling you some tricks or hacks or the most repeated way a tenses question can be asked. So all of you know tenses. You might have heard tenses in your class 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You might have been learning tenses. All of you know the basic idea about tenses. That is basically the tenses have been divided into three parts. That is your past tense, present tense and future tense. Sir, this much even I know. So tell me some extra, you might be asking now. The extra thing which I have to teach you here is this one. How many of you know this board? 90% of you watching English might know this present board, right? This is the tenses, verb tenses board. Don't worry students, if you're not able to see the board here in the video, in the description of this video, I'll be presenting the entire PPT will be given in the description. You can download the PPT from there, from the description. Now here we know the most questions here in your board examination always come from the past tense. Always 90% of the questions or 80% of the question come from the past tense. That is, they play around with the verb there. That is the verb's second form. They play around there. That's, for example, they'll give you questions on talked or walked. No, those kind of questions you can expect. But students, this is a table which every student should know if you want to attempt a particular question on verb. For example, in perfect tense, a lot of questions have come. Recently, last year or sample paper, if you take, a lot of the question has come from the perfect tense. For example, every single time you're mentioning a present perfect, you have to write have eaten or has eaten. Yes, that needs to be mentioned here. Here in this case, it is I have eaten all the pizza. Now, the one question which has always been there, should I use have or how should I use, when should I use have or when should I use has? So that question also I'll be mentioning in today's video. I'll be clearing that doubt. Now here I'll be mentioning the few important points where the question has been repeated. So please try to focus on these because your tenses, you do not have to spend 2-3 hours on this. Tenses, hardly you'll get 2 questions. Trust me, hardly you'll get 2 to 3 questions in the form of error filling or gap, error identification or gap filling. Rest you can get models or determinants, and that is going to be 5 marks in total. Other 5 marks is going to be reported speech. So tenses is going to be just for like 2 marks or maximum, if you're lucky, 3 marks. So for 3 marks, don't watch 3 hours lecture. This hacks are going to be enough. Okay. The hack number 1, that is, you will get questions. 90% time the questions will come from simple tense, where they'll ask you the present form, or perfect tense, that is both present and past. And the third, the most important, where the questions have been keep on repeating, that is your present perfect continuous tense. Now these are the 3 different tenses where the questions have been coming continuously. Apart from this, you do not have to worry. Now within these 3 categories, can there be confusion? Yes, there can be confusion, and to this is the video where I clear that confusion to you. Okay, the first one, listen to me very carefully. The first one is your past perfect tense. The first one is your past perfect tense. Now let me read a statement for you. I dash finished homework before watching TV. Now I can read as I have finished homework before watching TV. Does it sound correct? You're like, yes sir, I have watched, I have finished my homework before watching TV. Or I had finished homework before watching TV. Now both of them sound alike, sir. How can I tell the difference? Students, listen to me very carefully. Every single time you will get a question like this, or it has come in previous year, underline or always look out for this before. If the particular question is mentioning before, if the work has been done before, if the word before is mentioned in the question, blindly write had. I had finished homework before watching TV. I had finished eating before going out. Understanding? Whenever the before word is there in the statement, it is always had, not have. Okay? Now, next category. The next category is the present continuous tense. Now, this is where the questions have come, and this is where I'll tell you a small trick which you will be able to identify in your exam also. What is the small tricks here, sir? Listen to me very carefully. Students, here in the present continuous tense, mostly you will have been or ing will be there. Have been or ing will be there. Now here, I always look out for since and for. Always in the statement, try to look for since or for. For example, we have been living in India for 25 years. There was for, so I blindly wrote have been living in India. That's how you fill have been. So every single time you see a for or a since, we have been living in India since 1998. So that time blindly you can write have been living in India or have been. So try to identify for and since for your present continuous tense. This is very important. Okay. The third hack here, where the question can come from, and if you understand this last hack, if you understand this last trick, you're sorted for grammar. For the 3 marks or 2 marks are going to be yours, because one question is going to come from here. That is past simple and present perfect. Now, what is the difference here? What is the difference between past simple and perfect present perfect? Now, students, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very, very carefully for this point. For example, let me read a statement for you. She dash her grandmother yesterday. Can I write she have visited her grandmother yesterday or she visited her grandmother yesterday? Okay, or not understanding? Let me read a second statement. She visited her grandmother several times. Does it sound correct? She visited her grandmother several times, or she have visited or she has visited grandmother several times. Can also be correct. She has visited grandmother several times. That also sounds correct. So which is it? Listen to me very carefully. Here, can you see? Yesterday is the clue here. If in a statement yesterday is mentioned, it is your past tense. Yes, it is your past tense. Here, you should never, whenever direct time is mentioned, the time is also over here. Can you see? Time is also mentioned. Action of visiting at specific point is in the past is mentioned. That time you never have to write have, has, no, nothing will come. So for this question, she visited her grandmother yesterday. So if the time is mentioned, never mention have or has, not there. It is a trick. The second trick here is she has visited. Here has will come. Has visited her grandmother several times. Now why do I write has here? Because it is in the past tense. It is in the past tense. And secondly, if you notice, it says several times. That is, the time is not specific here. The time is not mentioned here. That is why has is coming here. That is why has is coming here. She has visited her grandmother several times. Okay. Now listen to me. Next question here. I'll give you one more example. I finished my homework yesterday. See, yesterday the time is mentioned. So should you write have or has anything here? No. So directly I finished my homework. No, has nothing. Now here I have finished my homework. Now when I say I have finished my homework, is there any time mentioned here? Any specific time is mentioned here? No. That's when you have to use I have finished my homework. I have finished my homework. Clear? That is for tenses. That is a small trick which I wanted to give you because your exam is close by. Now if I sit and make complete video on tenses, it is not going to work out for you. What you need to do right now, based on these tricks, you need to solve a lot of questions, because I gave hardly few questions here. You need to solve more and more questions. For that very reason, if you 6 o'clock today, that is 6 o'clock today, you will have a surprise. Go watch the short on the channel. You will be getting top 100 grammar questions. So if you solve those 100 grammar questions, your grammar is sorted. No one can take that 10 marks from you. So go on, take the advantage, and all the best, students.